My name is Brett Fallentine. I'm the director of Fire on the Hill.
And my name is Ghuan Featherstone. I'm one of the subjects in the film.
And we are going to be drinking a Cab Sauvignon from Argentina called La Finca.
All right.
So let's just do that now.
Let's try.
Maybe let's talk about how we met.
Okay.
And how I found the hill, or I guess not found it, I just stumbled upon it one day.
There you go.
So I had heard, I had a friend who was doing some social work down in South L.A. and she told me at a party that there were these guys riding around, and as soon as I heard about this, I was like, I got to see this. Where are they? And so like, I don't know. She was at this cross street. It was Broadway, and it was right by that overpass. So it's like down there by the number streets.
Like
but then,
17.
Yeah. So I went down there on a Saturday in the morning, and I waited in my car, and it was where they ride, and so I saw this horse manure, so I kept following this trail. So I'm like, it's got to come from somewhere. It's got to be these guys. So I follow it down, and then it just stops. So I didn't know where to go, so I left. But over the next week or two, I would come back and I would pick up this trail of horse manure, and literally the trail of horse shit led to the stable. And when I got there, I had cameras on me, and I met Ray, who's one of the elders. And I started interviewing him, and then he's like, you got to meet this guy Ghuan. And then I met Ghuan, and Ghuan's like, hey, we're going out riding next week. Why don't you come for a ride? And then this guy Calvin's going to be there, and Fat Pack, yeah. And then the first ride that we went on.
It was a few of us on that first ride. Yeah, that's when you got that great footage, and you got us going back. We had Papa, you got us running in the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we got to the end, I didn't know where we were going the whole time. And we're just following you guys. You guys were riding in the medium, right, running them, reeling them, all this stuff. And it was such great footage. And then you guys veered off at some point. It's like, where are they going? And everybody locked up and went to the liquor store, and then I was like, what are we doing now, guys? And like, I think it was you.
Yeah.
You're like, now you're buying us Hennessy.
Yeah.
And that's
it's the Hennessy, bro.
Yeah. And then so we bought a bottle. We brought it back to the hill. We had some drinks. Ghuan showed off his singing talents to the camera.
I did sing that day because
Calvin was
doing what Calvin did.
Calvin sang.
Sing a song, and he sang it. He said, "Now you sing a song,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had me sing that "Sleepless in
L.A." Do you want just a little taste of "Sleepless in L.A."?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it goes like, in the city of fallen angels, where the wild and the crazy hang, full of hustlers and dope pushers. Oh, it's sleepless in L.A. See, all my life I've seen that struggle. Homies die for financial gain. I'm a witness to the madness when mothers' children go astray. If I could live my life for just a day, I wonder how I'd hang. Would I stay focused on tomorrow or survive for the day? See, I'm tired of the suffering, dropping tears at another grave. In a minute, it's all over, but now I'm sleepless in L.A. I'm sleepless all the time. That's how it went.
Yeah. And then he saw this and was like, oh my God. And so the music that we have for the film. So, this is something that we actually don't get to talk about a lot in the interviews that we do and after we screen the movie at these festivals. But one of the major things that happened through the course of making this movie is it was a big collaborative effort.
Yes.
And Ghuan actually did, I think, 4 or 5 songs that are in the film. He did the first song that's opening the movie, and he closes the movie. He's one of the two songs that close the movie. And I mean, the whole time you heard his voice. And Ghuan was sending songs, tracks the whole time, and it was always like,
listen to this, man.
yeah,
Listen to this.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
time I do a song, listen to this. What you think about this?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
listen to him. I listen to him. Listen to
Yeah.
this. Listen to this. You listen to him.
And we started placing them all throughout the film, and that's how it started. You know, when Chris was riding in the car, and you know, at the rodeos and stuff like that, we started placing these songs all around, and that really like turned it into like this is how. I mean, that was how it was because they like that barbecue. You would play your songs.
Yeah, the songs
you know?
would be in that department.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it was a great kind of like, you know, I've never heard of a relationship where the subject is also the composer, unless it's about, you know, unless the subject is the composer, and that's what the movie's about. But for the so we brought on DJ Swish. And he does a lot of beats for LA rappers, and he's a very talented young kid. He's from Long Beach. And so one day, we wanted to do this opening song, and we wanted to do a collaboration. With No Good. And so we all went to Universal Music in Santa Monica, and we got a room, and you know, these guys just started writing.
Yeah, we just started writing right there.
Swish laid down a beat, and these guys were, I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, and that was good. That was a good experience too.
Yeah.
You know, we just vibed, you know, we just vibed on the spot. We didn't have any idea what we were gonna do, and then it was just like, oh, okay, we were thinking about something else at first, and then Swish was like, oh no, you gotta do it. Just, oh, I like that. Just say L.A. And then No Good said. Palm trees and bullet holes.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, that's a cool line." So we started writing off of that line right there. Yeah. So that's how the song came
And then Ghuan took it home, and 2 days later
here you go.
Here's the track.
Yeah.
No changes. We didn't change anything. It was awesome. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are cowboys from Wyoming, Montana, Utah, and everywhere in between. But this next cowboy comes from Compton, California.
Once you live somewhere for so long, you adapt to it. It becomes a way of life.
Gang-related shooting.
An explosion of crime.
A district can be okay, but then with 2 blocks down, it can be at war. But the Hill is like a different way of life. Blood and Crip, we all come as one. In the inner city, you would never know what's right there.
The Hill is about 70 years old. Many a cowboys come up out of this place.
It was like a training ground for future black cowboys.
The history of this place is infused with the community. It didn't start out as being a place to stop the gangs, but in the end, that's what it has done.
It's either you're gonna be a gangbanger or you're gonna be a cowboy. You can't do both.
And then the fire changed everything.
Story this morning, horse owners at a South L.A. stable have less than 2 hours to remove their animals after the city declared the structure unsafe.
Somebody doused the horse in gasoline and burned the horse up.
They closed us down. Pretty much they snatched the life out of everybody.
The challenge of man and animal.
Land of the sunshine, palm trees.
My family is into gangs. I kind of watch them, learn from their mistakes. There's world champions with the Hill. It could be done again.
Where we were got taken away from us, but we can bring it back better.
So you want to see it come back?
That ain't gonna happen. If I can build a place and I'm helping 10 kids a month, I've done something great with my life and my time.
If I could survive the LA, the PD, I could survive in any damn city.
I would say maybe talk about too. One of the things that was so interesting to me doing the film and learning about this as I got to know you and Calvin and Chris was what the Hill, which is it's a horse stable in the middle of South L.A. what it was actually doing to the community around, like the surround. What was its importance for, you know, especially with the youth in the gang community that was around there, and then now, with that energy, what are you trying to do with that energy now?
Okay, well, what it used to do is it was I can't say like it was a written rule, but it was like an unwritten rule that place was a neutral zone. So imagine this being the hill, and surrounding the hill you have all these different gangs around the hill. But when they all came to this central location, there was no problems. And it was crazy to see that happen. Like, when you're over here, you're mad at each other, but you get around these animals and now it's like, oh yeah, we're all cowboys, we're all together. So that right there is really what we're basing our new idea on how we're going to bring the Hill back. So we're trying to start a foundation called the Hill Foundation. And so what it's going to do is provide that environment again, mainly for the youth, that they got a place, they know it's a neutral zone, because all the gangs already know. They still, even right now, it's not existing, right? But you can go out there and sit in the street and the gangs still come there and they get together and, you know, I don't know what they do when they leave, but when they're up there, there's no problems, you know. So we said, okay, let's focus on building this back up, but it'll be mainly dedicated to that purpose of getting people together and having the community grow on that basis. And we'll utilize the horses to draw them, because horses, I don't know, like here in New York, I didn't see anybody with a cowboy hat on or a horse riding down the street, and I'm sure they didn't see me either, because everybody's like, you know what I'm saying? So this is like, he's different. Why did he have his hat on? And it happens in L.A. too. So we're going to use the horses to get their attention, to get them there, get them active with the horses, get them loving the horses. But you're riding this horse next to this crip that on the street you normally wouldn't even like him, but now you're like, man, you're cool. Brett is riding down the street with me. Maybe he didn't have any black friends, or I didn't have any white friends, but in this place, everybody's together. Like, it's a real big problem with the Hispanic community and the black community right now. They're like taking off on sight, shooting each other on sight. But this area right here, it's a whole different vibe. Then they go take that, it transcends beyond that, because they go tell their friends, wait a minute, hold on. You can't do that to him. He's my buddy. You gotta leave him alone. And it just trickles down. Next thing you know, we changed the world. It's a brush fire.
Yeah. And it really, I mean, seriously, and that's kind of what we're building on too, and we're trying, and we're organizing it, and you know, I would say, would you say that the Hill was kind of passively working to as a gang preventative device? We're trying to make it an active participant. We're trying to use it as the base of, and it's something that is of the community. It's been in the heritage of South L.A. and Compton since the beginning, and so we thought, you know, why not base it on that? Why not have that, since it's so ingrained in the community anyway? That is a way to help.